First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to the Lord and Savior, Jesus the Christ. He's the Lord of my life. Shout out to YouTube for another opportunity to share on a Sabbath Saturday. I want to encourage all my fellow black brothers and sisters, whether you consider yourself African American, Negro, black, the other word you use, which I don't use, but I understand. I want to end this beef, right, between the black man, the black woman. You know, those from the suburban neighborhoods to those from the quote-unquote not suburban, the hood. I'm from the hood. You know, the Lord was merciful enough to allow me to move out of the hood. Thanks to my mother. Shout out to her. The Lord was merciful enough, and I was fortunate enough to grow up later on in life, a diverse group of people. Came from Brooklyn, Crown Heights, in the beginning of the 90s, either 1990. I moved to Southside, Jamaica, Queens. I went to junior high school 210. Shout out to them, Elizabeth Blackwell. I graduated from there, went to August Martin High School. Shout out to August Martin. You know, sad to what's going on. Hopefully I get the paper. I'm going to fix it up. I'm going to put the football team, even though that's another conversation, another video as far as football. But, you know, out of respect of the late, great Coach Jones, got to get the program up and running again. But what it costs? Money. I graduated from there. I was able to go to Queensborough Community College. And I moved in pretty much every part of Queens. Only part of Queens I didn't live in, it was like Queensbridge. I didn't live over there. But I done lived in Flushing. I done lived in Briarwood. I done lived in Kew Gardens. I done lived in Southside. I done lived in Rosedale. I done lived in Cambria Heights. I done lived in St. Albans. I think I done live Flushing College Point area. Yeah, that's still considered that. I've never lived in Bayside, not yet, because I would love to get me a crib out there. The millionaire section of Whitestone, very beautiful over there. I say that to say this. I was fortunate enough through my mother and through, once again, out of the Lord's grace, I was able to go to a Christian camp when I was young, predominantly white brothers and sisters. I was fortunate enough to go to karate school. I was fortunate enough to be around a very diverse group of people. I grew up around a very diverse group of people, but I'm from the hood. I'm from 750 St. Mark's, you know. I grew up in Southside Queens during the Supreme era. I'm saying all that to say this. As I've evolved, I'm 45 years old now, right? I hit a language, you know, and I just want to encourage all my black brothers and sisters, you know, even though you have evolved, you've grown out of the hood, you've matured more. You should have, if you're my age, your English is much better. It should be. Your vocabulary is more extensive. It should be. But if it's not, it's okay. You know, communication is communication. You know, there was a post online, and I'm addressing this video based on this post. I forgot the brother's name, but he was talking about like, yo, man, don't come to me if you talking about Ma, on God, and all this other stuff. And I'm in agreement with him, but I will say this, right? I have to retract that, because at the end of the day, you are mostly a product of your environment. Now, to my sisters that speak like that, yo, on God, and what up, bro, and all that, that's just a form of communication. That's a form of ebonics and slang, in which we say from the hood. We can't knock the sisters for that. That's just the way how they communicate, based on how they grow up and based on what they learning from us as the men. Men, we can't, and women, you can't knock the men from that too. Now, if you evolve and, you know, and you are fortunate enough to travel outside of New York State, and you are fortunate enough to be around different groups of people, whether Asian, Latino, white Americans, a lot, you see a lot of them talk different, but a lot of them talk the slang too. So I just want to make a quick video just to say, let's stop shooting each other down, you know. Now, I know the brother said it's not ladylike, and once again, in my opinion, I agree. It's not my cup of tea and everything. I wouldn't want my wife, my woman, talking like that in that regard. But I understand, you know, if the woman does talk like that. I think the bottom line with me, you know, listen, you can talk that way as long as you respect and love me the same way. I think that's where the problem comes in. Because we have to realize when we came from slavery, we communicated each other differently, whether through sign language, and I would love to learn how to speak sign language. That's something I'm inquiring. A lot of us communicate through music. I mean, it's different forms of communication. So let's not knock it because black people, let me encourage you. Hip hop, we started hip hop, the slangs, the lingo, the fashion trends, that's all us. Let's not beat each other down because some of us have grown in that aspect and like, yo, I ain't in the hood no more. I don't talk hood and everything. Let's not downgrade the hood at all. It's not the hood that's the problem. What it is, it's always a battle against good versus evil. And then a lot of times people have that type of mentality. We like to get judgmental, like, oh man, this person's from the project, this, that, and the third, and everything. If you're not taught better, how you gonna do better? Everybody's situation is different. You got to remember, y'all. A lot of us have survived the crack era. And we just made it through COVID. Some of us didn't. A lot of rappers died during COVID. If y'all didn't know. Well, a couple, let me not say a lot, but a lot of people died, unfortunately. So as we're continuing to get better as a people, let's not look down on each other because of how we communicate, because English is not our native language. But it's a language that we all speak, and I think it's dope. I think all the languages is dope. All form of communication is dope. Like I said, I want to learn how to speak sign language. I think that's dope in itself. There's some people that know how to speak to the animals. I mean, they have an understanding with the animals. They say back in the days, that's why I heard, they said back in the days, we used to get to the point where we could speak to each other through telepathy. Communication is communication. I think the problem is understanding. If the men don't consider how the ladies speak from the hood, ladylike and everything, don't knock her, see where her heart is at. And then, as shout out to Beyonce, man, that song she made, Upgrade You, that's what it's all about. But let's not downgrade one another. Let's not think we're better than one another, Remember the movie Menace to Society? And shout out to this dude. Oh my gosh. MCA, he bodied that role. He said he did that song, a Straight Up Menace. He was like, he was singing those scenario. He did the whole song about Kane. He was talking about when Kane was moving out the hood and what's his guy? MCA, he was like, yo, he should have never moved. The hood is all good, homeboy. I thought you knew. Meaning he was telling Kane, dude, despite Kane had to get out the hood, because if he didn't get out the hood, based on the life and all the stuff, the poverty and the crime that was around him, he probably was going to die. So he was trying to escape the hood. And I'm saying for those of you who are trying to escape the hood, get out the hood, you want better out of life because mostly in the hood, and this is not to disrespect or downgrade the hood. Any type of poor type of conditions and environment is always a higher level of crime. We know that. Why? Because people are not getting money. And people gonna do what they gotta do to survive. Whether they selling drugs, they stealing from stores, that's what they gotta do. Especially if you got children. Trust and believe. People gonna play the lotto, numbers, they're gonna recycle bottles. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? That survival instinct come on. But if you're fortunate enough to make it out, don't look down on those who are still there. Because some people are trying to make it out, and some people, that's just who they are. Like I said, shout out again to my man Bug. I don't judge a person based on their creed. I judge them based on their deeds. With that being said, brothers, excuse me, I got tongue tied. Brothers and sisters, have a great Labor Day weekend. Coney Island. I mean, not Coney Island. Eastern Park, we're going to be crazy. There's going to be 1 million plus people over there. They say Juve, every time Juve go down, someone dies, which is usually one of us. Let's break that curse. Nobody dies during Juve this year. We have a peaceful time of partying and celebrating one another during the Labor Day parade. Because after that, the next day you got to go to work and it's back to school for the kids. And please, brothers and sisters, I don't care if you're a gangster. I don't care if you're a thug. I don't care if you're a blood or you're a crip. Let's be mindful. If we got problems with one another, please, let's be mindful of our kids. You know what I'm saying? If we're fortunate enough to be older and we had a childhood, let's not take away those who are still in their childhood. Because a lot of deaths are happening mistakenly and everything like that. Let's give each other that type of courtesy. Even though you may have your enemy, you want to get them. You see your quote-unquote op right there, but you see kids are around. Please, don't do it. And I'm not encouraging violence or murder, but for the sake of the kids, please be merciful to the kids. Because imagine if that was your kid, So let's take care of the kids. The children are the future. The kids are innocent. They're pure. It's the adults. We corrupt them. So with that being said, peace and blessings, brothers and sisters. Once again, have a great weekend, a Labor Day weekend. Turn up, have fun, drink responsibly, drive responsibly, act responsibly. And once again, stay humble. Peace.